Hello, welcome to part 2 of the outfeed table build here. Last week's video we got the frame built. I built the frame out of pine, said I had about $60 into it. This is about to get significantly more expensive. We're going to be putting the bottom in, going to put the dividers in, some drawers in it, and get the top on. Hope to have a total and price for you at the end of the video. So let's get right into it. Going to get started here by putting all of the sides and the back onto the table. This is all 3/4 inch or 18 millimeter Baltic birch. Also going to put some little pieces in right here just to keep everything flush all the way around. It'll help when I'm putting the bottom in, you'll see later. Then I decide might as well put some more screws in it. Why not? Now we're going to cut up some brace pieces to use as a little shelf for the bottom that's going to go in the table. So here I got a scrap piece of offcut 18 millimeter that I can use to make sure that everything's lined up right. It's kind of important to start with the front because there was no real reference on the back of where I wanted it to go. So I had to do the fronts, the sides, and then I could finally do the back last. Once I got all these in, I repeated the exact same thing for the other side of the table. Now we can get the bottoms in. You can see they just sit on the edge of the inside perimeter on those pieces I put in. Just brad nailed the bottom in. Now I'm going to get the dividers put in. This is also going to be the back mounting for the drawers that are going to go in the front. Since the drawers are going to be mounted to it, it is pretty important to make sure that it's all square. Put a bunch of extra pieces in all around the inside perimeter area of the top here. I didn't want to drill the pocket hole screws that are going to hold the top down through all the stretchers. I didn't want to weaken those. The aprons and the skirts. So I just added some extra parts with some pocket holes there. And I was looking at it and I was worried about this gap not being supported enough. I had the material, it's easy to do now, so I just put a couple little extra brace support pieces in here. Better to be safe than sorry. Now we're going to get the top glued up. I have a 3/4 inch sheet of MDF, and I also had these two half sheets of 1/2 inch MDF. And I figured I wanted to get rid of them anyways. I don't like storing this stuff, so I figured I'd just glue them together, make the thing a total of 1 1/4 inches thick. I was also worried about cutting the miter slots in that 3/4 material, that it's going to make it weak right there. I also don't know if there's a chance I might be putting in T-track at some point in time, so I figured I'd make it a little thicker to help give it some extra support. Just spread the glue all out, and then I screwed them together, screws about 10 inches apart. Did set it up so that that seam will ride dead center on that brace going across the table, so that that will be supported there. I was really proud of myself that I didn't get glue all over my shirt on this one. And once we get it all screwed together, wait until the next day and we can take it all apart. Did have some help from my son to flip this thing back over. I couldn't lift it. So once get it all lined up, gonna go ahead and trim it flush with the track saw here. Oops, helps if you cut all the way through it. Wanted to leave myself as much room on the back side of it, so I just cut just a little bit off the front here. Need to leave a lip on the back side so I can slide it up against the table saw over the lip on the rail right there. Once I got the top all cut flush, I can attach it from all the pocket holes in the underneath here. I'm going to cut up a bunch of little pieces here to put alongside the bottom side of the top. You'll see where they're going to go here shortly. I'm going to put an edge banding of hard maple around the outside of the top, and I want to be able to clamp things down. So the maple is going to end up being about 1 3/4 inches. So this will make it so that that MDF is 1 3/4 inches as well, so everything lines up. I hope that makes sense. You'll see when I go to attach the maple. That is all my clamps. Now we're just going to sand it smooth, just make sure everything's lined up so I can get that maple on. Not too worried about sanding on those legs there. I'm going to touch that up later. Now we're going to cut the maple up. Could just butt joint these all together, but it looks a lot nicer and it's a lot cleaner when they're all mitered edges. So I like to start off with clamping that first one in place and then just work my way around the entire top. Always make this mark just a little bit long, and then I just keep going back to the miter saw and cutting just a little bit off until I get it just right. Use these little offcuts to help make sure everything's lining up right. And I glued them and brad nailed them in place. There we go, worked our way all the way around the table. Now we get to sand everything flat. Left the maple just a little bit proud on the top there, so I could come back and sand it down to get everything flat. If it was low, it's going to create a problem when we go to put the top on. This is the laminate top that I'm going to be putting on the top. I've never done this before. I've used contact cement back when I was a teenager. I used to make speaker boxes and I used it to put the carpet on the speaker boxes. The stuff that I used here was significantly different. I'm a little concerned with how the top laminate here went on. The contact cement did not act as I was used to it acting. I don't know if it's the brand that I bought or what. We're going to use the tack cloth here to clean everything off on both the Formica and the top here. This contact cement was the safe kind. I'm pretty sure it's water-based. It didn't smell bad at all. The stuff I remember using smelled wicked. I'm assuming that it's going to be okay, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. It's about to get real hot out here, and we'll see what 110 degree temperature does to this laminate top. Hopefully it stays on. Seen a couple different ways of doing this. Some people use sticks and dowels. I've seen this plastic technique used. I kind of use a little bit of both. The contact cement will only stick to itself, so I put it on the table and then I put it on that laminate top, so it won't stick to the plastic. So I was really hoping I'd be able to do one of those like pull the tablecloth out underneath the dishes tricks. That was absolutely not going to happen. So I ended up just lining everything up, lightly clamped the back down, and then just slowly pulled the plastic back and used a stick to help keep everything lined up and keep that top off of the laminate. And then just started in the middle and rolled it and worked my way out, and then just kept pulling the plastic back a little bit further and just kept rolling it. From my experience with that contact cement, once that stuff was dry, if you touched it together, that was done deal. And this stuff didn't work like that. It almost had a little bit of give to it. It didn't really seem to be sticking that good until a lot of force was applied, and then it would finally stick. So it seemed to be okay after the next day, but I was a little concerned this evening when I had put that top on. Now we're going to chamfer the edges. I screwed an extra little support brace here onto the back of that middle leg. This is going to give me a place to put the drawer slides on. And now we get to make more drawers. This is going to be pretty quick here. Not going to take too much time with the drawers. Just going to cut the slots in all of them for the drawer bottom. Then we're going to cut some pocket holes in the front and the back panels. We're going to cut that notch out of the back panels for where the slide needs to go. And cut the drawer bottoms. Put them all together with the pocket screws and some glue. And we're going to put the little drawer slider latch things in here. And then we're going to drill the hole in the back where that little prong needs to attach in the drawer slide. And Soup came to say hi too. We're going to cut this trim up here just to cover those pocket hole screws and the exposed ply on the side there. I'm going to cut up all the drawer faces. Did just make the drawer faces out of that 18mm Baltic birch. I'm not going to get crazy with a shop outfeed table. I'm going to drill all the holes for the handles. I did use the same handles that I used on the miter station there. Little note, if you're going to be buying handles and you know you're going to be doing a lot of projects, buy a bunch of them at once. I've had it happen to me in the past where I needed more of a certain kind and I couldn't find them anymore. So this time I planned ahead and made sure I bought plenty. Now I'm going to test fit all the drawer faces to make sure everything fits and lines up right before we sand them and seal them. Looks good. Now we take them all back off. Oh, nope, we're going to put the door in over here. I decided to put a door in on this side. There was quite a bit of long storage over here. I might end up putting more drawers in later, but for right now I wanted a place to put some of the longer things that I have. Now we're going to sand all of those drawer fronts. Then we're going to seal them with some boiled linseed oil. This is the same finish that I put on that miter station in the background there. It's cheap, comes out good, takes a little longer to dry than some of the other stuff. I like the way it looks. Just rub it on. Come back maybe 15-20 minutes later and wipe it all down. Make sure you dispose of those rags properly. I hang them out to dry in the backyard. And put some along the trim and all the exposed areas on the table as well. Once they're all dried and waxed, now I'll put them all back on all of the drawers. I cannot move this thing, it's too heavy now, so I had to put some kind of caster wheels on there. I didn't want to put casters that were permanently affixed, so I got these ones that you can take off. Also didn't want them hanging off on the front or the sides, so I decided to put them on the inside here just to kind of get them out of the way. You just put these brackets on and then the casters just slide into them with a pin that locks them in place. Then you can take them off when they're not in use and store them in the workbench. I think this is about the maximum capacity these things will hold. Luckily, I don't plan on moving it more than twice a year at the very most, I would imagine. And that's it, all finished. Well, that was a fun build. Came out great. I am really happy with it. First off, I would like to thank Jason from Bourbon Moth Woodworking. Uh, that is the idea of where I got this table from. He has a video on YouTube as well for his outfeed table. This is very similar to his. Different materials, different size, but the overall design is pretty similar. Please go check out his video if you find this interesting. Next, I did say that I would try to give you a total on the price of it. At the end of it, we came in just about $900. I know it's a lot of money. I'm hoping to get many years of use out of this table. The top's replaceable, so if anything happens, I can always just put a new top on it. I don't have to build a whole new table. So far, I'm really happy with how it came out. Next up is probably going to be a mortising jig, so I don't have to keep making throwaway ones. After that, I'm going to upgrade the table saw. You might notice that I didn't cut the miter slots in the outfeed table for the crosscut sleds. I'm still on the fence of whether I'm getting a new table saw or not. And I know all of those miter slots are all different sizes and all the different saws. So I didn't want to cut holes in this and then have to cut more later. I'm still undecided whether I'm getting a new saw or going to upgrade this one. Good chance I'm probably going to end up just upgrading this one. It's not the greatest saw, but it's never let me down. Wish it had a riving knife. It only has this kind of janky splitter I made in there. In fact, never came with a riving knife from the factory, which I know is one of the main safety items on that table saw. So we'll see what I decide to do. Regardless, I do want to thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.